Hello fellow Magic players, welcome back. This is the first video of mine for 2023, today starting with an episode, a brand new one, of Magic the Rambling. It's a talk show where I ramble on for some time about some stuff, all focused on the Commander format. If you want to talk about anything that I mention in the show at all, feel free to leave comments on the videos, or you can tag me on Twitter at @MTG_homebrew. I'm pretty active on there, at least for the meantime, until it inevitably falls apart. But for now, that's where you can find me at. This episode, like I said, will be the first for 2023. These episodes will air every Sunday. I will have short-form content on every Tuesday and full in-depth deck techs on Thursdays. That will be the upload schedule, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, for each week of 2023. To see what we can do to grow the channel and get me some practice here and there with editing and all sorts of other stuff. So, enough about that, let's get into the episode. On this one, I'll be talking about reprints. We're going into a brand new year for Magic, and we've already seen a couple of spoilers from the All Will Be One Phyrexia set, as well as Dominaria Remastered, but this script was actually made prior to either of those spoilers, any of that coming out. I had this done probably back in November, maybe October. I don't exactly remember when. I've had this for a while. But 2022, as a year in review kind of thing, was a huge year for reprints, especially with Double Masters 2022. That was pretty big. We had cards like Dockside getting reprinted. We had Imperial Seal getting its first reprint ever since 1999. Rhystic Study with its fourth reprint. Concordant Crossroads with its third. And Force of Negation with its first ever reprint since Modern Horizons 1 back in 2019, just to name a few of the more notable ones that people might remember. I'm excited for a new year of Magic product, and I hope you guys are as well if 2022 didn't burn you out. I know it did for a lot of people, myself included. I got a little worn out there at the end, but I'm excited to see what we have in store this year. So let's get into 10 cards that I think could use a reprint here in the next year or two, and we'll go from there. Okay, before we get into those top 10 cards, just a disclaimer, I'm actually doing this while I'm editing it because I just noticed it. All of these numbers are going to be one off except for the first one and I think the last one, because I don't know how to read numbers for some reason, and I went straight from 10 to 8 and skipped 9. All the cards are still there, they're just out of order for most of the list, so ignore what I'm saying, and the top 10 are actually the little titles that'll come up prior to. So figured I'd let you guys know before I get all the weird comments. And that'll be that, so enjoy. At number 10, I have Fiery Emancipation. Has only been printed in Core Set 2021, has a price tag of about $30 right now with only one current print. This card has become one of my more recent favorites, especially in a deck piloted by like Toralf or Torbrand, anything like that, with slinging around all that extra damage. It's a lot of fun. This card does, however, like I said, have a pricey $30 bounty for just a regular base copy. And I really hope we can see it come down a little bit if we can get a reprint or another run here next year, maybe the year after, anything like that. Number 8, I have Isochron's Scepter. Last printed in the original Double Masters, has a $10 to $11 price tag with 4 current prints. This card was a much-loved card ever since I built my Thrasios Tymna deck, the classic combo with Dramatic Reversal. You can make all the infinite mana and do all the stuff. It never gets old when you pull that off, no matter how many times I do it. It's not the most expensive card right now, and the price tends to hold steady, so I hope to see it again this year if we get a Master set, which we probably will, knowing how Wizards works. But even if we don't, I would like to see it again, maybe in a artifact set or anything of the sort. Who knows? At number 7, I have Mana Crypt. Also last printed in the original Double Masters, still holds a nearly $200 price tag even with 5 current versions to purchase. This is a chase card. Every time it gets a print, is always an all-star, and it's one of, if not the best card in the Commander format. I also don't expect the price to drop anytime soon unless we get this printed like once a year type of deal. But for the meantime, just another print anywhere along the line in the next couple of years would suffice. At number 6, I have Ad Nauseam, also last printed in the original Double Masters, still holds about $10 to $15 with only 2 current prints to its name. This card single-handedly got me into playing higher power games of Commander. This was the first piece that was actually kind of worth money that I added to my now discontinued high-powered Kess List, that video linked down below. And I eventually started to use the full, straight-off-the-database CEDH Turbo Ad Nauseam version at weekly game nights when we felt like playing at that level. Not very often, but about once a month or so. Scarcity really is what keeps this card up in price, it's one of those cards that I would like to see more often or reprinted more, just to have more available as a whole. At number 5, I have Lotus Veil. The only printing is in Weatherlight. It's still a $40 to $45 card, namely due to scarcity, and only has the one print. This is a card that I've started to put in my monocolored decks, and it quickly is showing its power, especially in any kind of Titania deck, but most notably, for me anyway, Protector of Argoth, with the land graveyard type of deal. This card has some amazing synergy mid to late game. Sacrificing 2 lands, gets multiple Titania triggers, and tapping for 3 of one color makes it better, I think, here than in like a Gitrog deck or anything like that, where you need multiple colors to shine and make everything work. Number 4, I do have Dockside Extortionist. Last printed in Double Masters 2022, as we all know, still has that $50 to $60 price range and only has the 2 current prints from Commander 2019 and last year. Saw its first ever reprint last year. This card is still very much sought after, and my relationship is kind of a love-hate relationship. It goes both ways. I do love to play it, especially with Emil the Blessed and just being able to blink it a whole bunch of times, but I also am not a huge fan of it, especially if we're in like a lower power pod for the game or 2 of the night. Not a huge fan of seeing that just get thrown around like it's a casual card, which, I mean, it's whatever, and I'm not going to get into that. I'm just going to keep moving. I'm just here to play the game and have fun and make dumb little videos off of it. Moving on to the next one. At number 4, I have Charming Prince. The only print is in Throne of Eldraine, still holds around $2 to $5, and with the only one current print. And I've noticed this card has been creeping up in price for some time now. The versatility of this 2-drop really kind of makes that price make a little bit more sense. Need the extra life for a card with Ad Nauseam? Check. Need to see what's on top before a Wheel of Fortune? Sure, go ahead. Need to blink a creature for some extra value like a Dockside, E-Witness, or Peregrine Drake? Sure thing. It does all of that. Not the most expensive or necessary card to reprint for just one spot on this list, but it's one that I would not mind seeing a bit more of around. Number 3 is Dramatic Reversal. Last printed in Game Night 2019, has a $1 to $3 price range depending on which one you get, and only has 2 current prints. This is the other half of that Isochron Scepter combo that I pointed out earlier on the list, and definitely the less expensive half. This is just another card that I wouldn't mind seeing more of become available. I don't think it sees much play outside of these specific combo decks. If you do see it anywhere else, go ahead and let me know, but I really don't know that I've seen it anywhere else besides that, and that's okay. Down the road, we might see an increase in price simply due to the scarcity of the card only having a couple of prints if we don't get at least one more printed sometime here in the next couple of years. Number 2, I have Noble Hierarch. Last printed in original Double Masters, still holds a $10 to $12 range with 4 current prints. And whether it be Modern, Legacy, or Competitive EDH, or even just regular EDH, this card is used all the time. Able to be played turn 1, tapping for 3 different colors. Giving the Exalted trigger, this card is never a bad deal. And like I said, it's only seen 4 prints since its debut in Conflux, which by the way released in 2009. This card remains immensely popular and should likely see a reprint if we get a Master set this year. At number 1, I have Burgeoning. Last printed in Commander 2016, has that $10 to $20 range depending on which one you pick up, with 4 current prints. Simply put, this card does work. Drop it turn 1, or even turn 2, come out so far ahead after just one rotation of the table, you should win most of the games you play with this card if you manage to get it out early enough. It's not the greatest draw on turn like 7 or 8, you're just kind of sitting there like it might help, but generally that late everybody's pretty set. Scarcity is really what keeps this card price up, and I would welcome a reprint to possibly drop the price long enough to be able to snag a couple of copies before the end of the year if we do get it. Thank Thank you all so much for watching or listening to this episode of Magic the Rambling. If you enjoy this kind of content, be sure to like this video, leave comments on what you guys would like to see reprinted this year. Feel free to subscribe. It's always free, and you can change your mind later. And subscribing helps grow the channel, and so you don't miss any new uploads every week. Thank you all again, and have a good one.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.